had a policeman come up in plain clothes the next day telling me, you must speak, you must speak. And it was at a low level for me when I thought, is this even worth it? Do people even care?
Yeah.
But when he said that, I could see there's probably a lot of cops that turn on. And they probably feel like hell when they have to bust people. And they're pressured to bust people because it's like an industry. The courts are privately held corporations with Dun & Bradstreet numbers, and they have performance benchmarks that they're supposed to hit.
Yeah, they get punished if they don't. If they don't arrest people illegally, they get punished. They get sent to go work in places where they might get shot. They get sent to go do duties. You know, if they live in Brooklyn, they'll get sent to Queens to go do their police officing, or they get sent to Upper Manhattan to go do their police officing because they're being punished and they won't be allowed to work near their home. And when you take police officers out of the community, you take their care with them, you know? They don't care about a community that they don't live in, so why should they behave any certain way? And, you know, we saw it happen in the 70s and the 80s where no police officer lived in the city because they were scared to live there, and there was tons of illegal, you know, like search and seizures, arrests.
Yeah, right.
It's just outrageous, honestly, and it's scary to have to be here because of my law predicament, being on felony probation from Virginia for weeks. I told you, but I haven't told the camera yet, but I'm on 3 years felony probation. I have 8 months left. I'm on felony probation because I was driving to California from New York, and I stopped in Virginia to go to sleep at a hotel in Abingdon, Virginia, and the lady told me that it would be $150 for the night, and I didn't have the money to spend on 5 hours of sleep, so I asked her if I could sleep in her parking lot. She said yes. 30 minutes later, the police showed up saying that she called the police on me, saying that I was fornicating with a prostitute inside my car. I don't have any tinted windows in my car, so you can see right into it when you pull up. The officer could see that I didn't have a prostitute in my car, but demanded that I get out and demanded that he search me. And when I got offended that he demanded, I instantly ended up in handcuffs and was in the back of the car and could no longer even express myself on just the illegal manner that they were searching me. So they ripped apart my car, found 2 ounces of weed, a gram of hash, and my bulls gave me kingpin, drug dealer, crossing state lines, trafficking, intent to distribute, manufacturing for the hash, because it's a reduction of a plant. It's not even manufactured. You can get hash just from shaking the buds, you know, like.
You mean it's smashing it all up?
It's not even manufacturing. It's just collecting of byproducts in some cases.
Well, the problem with collecting the resins is that if you look at the 2004 patents, cannabinoids as neuroprotectants, the thick oil is a cure for many diseases that the pharmaceuticals are making big bucks on. That's why you've stumbled on.
I'm an ex-junkie. I used to do heroin. That's why I was leaving New York City when I got arrested. They sent me back here, almost committing me to 3 years of heroin addiction.
Wow.
But, so I got Hep C last year, and the doctors refused to admit that milk thistle would be beneficial for me to take. Even though, like, all the research I showed that if your liver is failing or diseased, milk thistle is almost an immediate cure.
Really? No.
Direct evidence from the study that I was doing. I was getting my blood taken twice a week to 3 times a week to show the levels of hepatitis in my system. When I took milk thistle, there was a direct effect between the levels of thousands and thousands of, like, counts of like the liver disease of Hep C in me. It would fluctuate by thousands if I ran out of milk thistle and couldn't take it a week. My levels would double to triple, and the doctors refused to admit that it was helping or that it would help. They would, if I said, you know, like, I didn't take it this week and look, my levels jumped more than twice what they were, they would just ignore it. They said that it just happens and that it's coincidental.
So, excuse me, are you saying that you had a liver problem because of heroin?
Yeah, I got Hep C.
Do you think so?
Well, I got it because I shared.
Needles?
Needles, yeah. So.
I see. But you also feel that the milk thistle resolved the pressure on your liver?
Milk thistle is documented. Like, the only doctor I've ever heard acknowledge milk thistle for anything is they will give you milk thistle if you've eaten a bad mushroom, like a death cap or something,
really?
And you're having liver failure and you're dying and pissing blood. You can take milk thistle and it'll stop it. It'll cure you. It'll save your life.
What exactly? So milk thistle works on the liver or the kidneys?
The liver.
The liver.
Yeah,
so why would you be bleeding in your urine? I was just curious.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. No,
okay,
it's just like liver failure. I think it makes you start peeing blood.
Right. Anything else you want to share? Because I really appreciate you sharing. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure my viewers will.
Yeah.
And when people don't talk,
living in New York City is started to be one of the scariest cities I've ever been to. I used to really love being here because of the amount of people here, and just like the overall excitement of living in a big city. But lately it's just been terrifying.
The culture and the art, you mean?
Yeah, just everything about it. But lately it's just been terrifying because I don't feel like I have any rights here. I feel like I'm just a prisoner here and like have to always watch what I'm doing, because if I don't, I might end up in jail.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's scary. It's just a scary place.
I hope that we can make a difference, because I was able to prevail. They tried to stop me many times from being here, and I kept saying, you know, finally the owner came out. I think he was the owner. He said he was going to show me the lease that proved that I couldn't put my signs on his private property, and he never came back. So maybe I'm hoping with people like you to share your story, others will, and people who have nothing to do with marijuana, have no reason to fear the law, will say, wow, if I don't take care of these people today, what's going to happen to me tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole private property thing is a big joke too, because it's like when Occupy Wall Street tried to set up in a park, it then became private property also, you know, Zuccotti Park. Took away the First Amendment right to gather and assemble on public property, peacefully gather and assemble on public property. They just took it away, stripped it.
Well, do you know Union Square has a history of this? I'm going to start looking at the history and learn about it.
Tompkins Square Park also.
Yeah.
Tompkins Square Park is not the same thing. Over the past couple of years, the police have pretty much arrested all of the kids who travel, you know, like through boxcars and hitchhiking, and however they do it. It used to be kind of like a pilgrimage to New York City in the springtime of all the, you know, punk and traveling crusty kids.
Yeah.
And they're not there anymore. They don't go, because a year ago, 2 years ago, the police started arresting you for being barefoot, for having your feet on a bench, for laying down in the park, for having a dog on the park. Any reason they could think to throw you in jail, they did it. They arrested countless amount of kids, and when they arrested them, there was no Miranda rights, there was nothing. It was just, you're in handcuffs. If you're a witness, you're probably going to end up in handcuffs. If you speak, if you just look down and walk away, you might get away. And it's just,
oh man,
it's absolutely scary.
I feel terrible. I feel like I should do something to help the youth. Can you come to the Yippee Cafe on Wednesday for comedy night at 9 Bleecker Street? I mean, it's the beginning.
Wednesday. I think I'm working Wednesday night, actually. Okay. Having a hard time paying off all my restitution and legal bills.
Really? You paid a lawyer $15,000?
Yeah, to get 3 years probation.
And all he gave you was probation?
Yeah, couldn't capitalize on the illegal search and seizure thanks to the Patriot Act. And, you know, those kinds of laws that say anything that's found illegally can be used in the court of law.
Have you ever thought of going even farther, saying, does this court have jurisdiction because the United States of America has been bankrupt? So how can a bankrupt corporation be bringing these grievances forward? I haven't learned the argument yet, but you seem pretty smart.
If I had any capacity to learn law better, my brain injury really inhibits my ability to do things.
Tell us about your brain injury and that you're a card carrying from California.
In 2008, I was in a car accident and I crushed my skull. I was going 80 miles an hour. My car steering went out while my girlfriend was driving. I didn't have my seatbelt on, and I crushed my skull on the interior dash of the car. And since then, I've had like seizures and memory problems and attitude problems and
it
depression.
Sounds like hemp oil would really help you.
Yeah, it definitely did for a while. But you can't do it
because probation, you're getting pee tested?
Yeah, I get urine tested, but I take the risk because there's nothing else I can do about it. I can't afford insurance. I'm not liable for Medicaid because I make too much money.
How do you make too much money?
If you make over like $700, you're not eligible for Medicaid. And if you don't make over $700, how the hell can you afford to live in New York City?
Right, I know.
I have to be here. I can't leave. Nobody's going to give me housing because I'm not a minority. And
What work do you do?
I'm a bike messenger.
A bike messenger, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe...
And I also work with the farmers on the weekends doing a farm stand for selling meat.
Oh, I see. I think I may have seen you there. Maybe so. Who knows?
Wednesday I work at Union Square, but Saturday I work at Grand Army Plaza.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
What are you saying about pleading?
So, police officers are being pressured into making false arrests because, and they tell you this when you're arrested, don't worry about it. You'll just get a misdemeanor or like a dismissal case. But when you talk to your public defender, the public defender tells you to plead guilty, so they'll dismiss it. So you plead guilty in the court of law, you're convicted of a misdemeanor or whatever.
Here we are, the United States of America, police state.
Listen, baby, look, will you happen to have a card, one of these cars?
Oh, you want to buy a card?
No, not buy a card. I want one of those. Do you have like a little information, like a website or something?
Oh, just call a Gloria.
And the public defender is just telling you, don't worry about it, it's a little charge, plead not guilty, and they'll dismiss it upon conviction.
Plead not guilty or plead?
Well, plead guilty, sorry. You plead guilty to whatever little charge, even if it was illegal search or illegal, everything. They just tell you to plead guilty and you'll get let go. And you do that and you get let go, and then you have it on your record that you pleaded guilty to whatever little charge you had. And they get their money and you get your fine.
Right, and that ends it. But you actually, even pleading not guilty is contracting with them, and you lose your constitutional rights because you agree to their jurisdiction implicitly. So that's what we want to do at the Yippee Cafe. I'm not sure that venue, but we do want to start doing Occupy the Courts. Even when people show up on foreclosure cases, the judges rule differently.